For today's Fueling Friday topic, I am going to talk about how I will be fueling for 70.3 Virginia Blue Ridge, which is on Sunday, one of my most favorite race courses. And this is a very hard course with the bike being almost 4,000 feet of climbing and a long 5-mile climb up to the Blue Ridge Parkway. So it's really important that I go in really well fueled and hydrated. It's not going to be a super hot race, but it is going to be a very demanding race. So I'm going to walk you through how I'm going to fuel before the race. And really what I want to focus on is carbohydrates. And if I'm trying to eat about 8 grams per kilogram of body weight for this race, I'm going to need a little bit over 400 grams of carbs. You might be thinking, oh my gosh, that is a lot of carbs. Well, if you go back to some previous posts that I have done, I talk about the tips for carb loading, and it shouldn't be confused with calorie loading. So I will decrease fat and fiber in order to make room for those additional carbohydrates, and I will incorporate some protein throughout the day along with the carbohydrates that I'm eating. So I'm going to go through some of my favorite energy dense carbs so that you don't end up feeling too full and you can still meet your carbohydrate needs. So I'm going to start off in the morning before I work out, and I'm going to have 2 waffles, and these aren't just your regular waffles. These are thick and fluffy waffles, so we get a little bit extra carbohydrates with these. Then and then of course I'm going to have some maple syrup with that, great source of carbs. Then after the workout, I will probably have some eggs with a bagel and a banana, and I might have a little bit of yogurt before my workout with the waffles. Then I'm probably going to have some pasta for lunch, and very easy to digest. And then for snacks, I'm a big fan of Pop-Tarts. Now, they didn't have the unfrosted like I like, so I'm just gonna go with the extra yummy frosted kind. But this is a great bang for your buck to get carbohydrates in, because you can get almost 400 calories and, 68 grams, almost 70 grams of carbs in 2 Pop-Tarts. And it's not too filling either. Now, if for some reason I feel nervous or my stomach feels a little bit off, which can happen the day before a race, then I'll do some saltine crackers, easy on the gut, what you would eat if you were sick, had a tummy ache. So we want to think about low residue foods. Then my go-to dinner before my races, which this is great because you can do this in a hotel room as long as you have a microwave. I do one of these Minute Cup rices. I like the jasmine rice, and then my favorite is Amy's no chicken noodle soup. High in sodium, low in fat, tastes delicious, so I just mix these together, and it's a really light and easy dinner. And then for a snack, if I need a little snack before bed, I will have some oatmeal squares, but any granola or cereal would work just fine. So that is an example of the carbohydrates that I enjoy eating before a race to help me carb load without making me feel too full. And I've also practiced with these foods, so I know what works, and that also brings me comfort and excitement for race day. Now on to the bike. So for the bike, it's going to take me a little bit longer than my usual half Ironman. So on a course like Chattanooga, I might be riding sub 230 on the course, but here in Blue Ridge, if I got under 240, I would be extremely happy. But I'm probably looking between 240 and 245 on this really challenging bike course. So I'm gonna give myself a full, as much as 3 bottles if I can. Now, my reservoir here on my Ventum only holds about 1.5 bottles, so I will grab water at one aid station to get in a little bit extra calories. And I will be fueling with my favorite, Never Second, and I will be doing 3 scoops of C30 to give me 90 grams of carbs per bottle per hour. So I will aim for 1.5 bottles in my reservoir here, and then I will do another bottle between the aero bars, and I will drink this probably more on the uphills just because it's easier to drink from this bottle, pull it out and drink it as I'm climbing, and then I'll have my straw here to do when I'm aero. So I will aim for close to about 3 bottles or 2.5 bottles throughout the bike, and then I'll get some extra water. So that's gonna give me close to about 300 calories per hour. Now, if I did a 3-hour ride. So I'm probably gonna be a little faster than that, so I'm looking at about maybe 330 calories per hour. Now, I will also have some Power Bar gummies that I'll just stick in my pocket, and I will have them, and I can get some additional calories if I need it throughout the ride. Really good on hilly courses, when you have a long climb and you're about to descend, to take in some additional calories about 15-20 minutes before you crest the climb, just because by the time those start to digest, you'll be going downhill, and that's where a lot of blood pressure, blood sugar issues tend to occur for athletes. So it's good to have just a little bit extra in about a mile or two before you crest the climb. Now, for the bike, I will drink these over the next 2 days, and each of these is about a liter. So in the morning, I will fill these up with my Never Second, and I will pour them into this reservoir. Nice thing about that is I don't have to bring extra water bottles that I then have to put into my bag. I can just toss these when I'm done with them. And then also, because I'm gonna have about half of this left before the race, I will just continue to drink this for extra hydration and calories, and then I can toss it right before the swim starts. So I always like to have a throwaway bottle right before the swim, just because then I can continue to stay hydrated and I don't have to worry about wasting a good bottle. Now on to the run. So for the run, I'm going to be using Never Second again, which is actually my go-to run nutrition. It is my absolute favorite. It works really well for me, and I will do 1 scoop per flask in my flasks here. Each of these flasks is about 10 ounces, so I will get about 10 ounces to 30 grams of carbohydrates, and I will try to finish one of these every 30 minutes, but I probably won't finish the full thing in 30 minutes just because it gets hard to drink when your heart rate is up and you're fatigued. So if I can get one of these every 40 minutes, that would be great. I plan to sip 1 to 2 sips every 8 to 10 minutes or so, or whenever I need it, and then just use water at the aid stations for cooling. And then once I get through both of these, then I'll just use on-course nutrition, whether it's Coke and water or whatever I'm in the mood for. I will usually, when I'm training, I always wear my Naked Hydration belt, but my new Trimarni Castelli kit has the perfect size pockets that I can actually put both of these into my rear pockets and have them sit just like I was wearing a hydration belt. So you won't see me with my hydration belt on race day, just because I will be wearing these flasks in my jersey. And that's how I'll be fueling for the run portion of 70.3 Virginia Blue Ridge.